Yeah, that's what I've been talking about right here. No doubt.
Future solutions, fencing outdoors. Clip of the day, man. Clip of the day, man. I'm Dave Gatto. I'm your host. From the East Coast, man. Burn your wrist and toes. Let's go. Hey everybody, and welcome back. This is episode number 28 of the Future Solutions Fence and Outdoor Clip of the Day podcast. My name's Dave Gatto, and I'm your host. Hey guys, I got a really good episode for you. Stay tuned. Listen to the whole entire episode. This can be very beneficial to your company, and it's helped us out a lot, and I think it's going to help you out a lot too. Now guys, just, sort of with this show, I want to let you guys know that this is not the things that I talk about on the show are not things that I learned from a book. They're not things I learned from watching a video. They are not regurgitated things that I may have heard on the internet or on another podcast. These are actual problems and things that I have done in my company, problems that I have solved in my company, or things that I'm currently working on. And I'm trying to pass that information on to you so that you can avoid some of the pitfalls and some of the stuff that comes along with this, okay? Because sometimes it's very hard and it's very difficult. And if somebody would tell me this stuff and I could avoid the mistake, I would greatly appreciate that. So I'm trying to pass that on to you. And in this episode today, guys, I want to cover how to implement a disciplinary system in your company, right? What does that look like? How do you formulate it? How do you execute it? And in what ways does it benefit your company? Okay, so I'm just going to start off with a little story, guys. These are actual things that have happened in my company, so it's not per se so much a story, but I like it to use it in a storyline to sort of teach what I'm going to talk about today. So in my company, I was experiencing a lot of mistakes over and over again from the production floor, from the delivery drivers, and these mistakes had patterns to them, okay? They were reoccurring, and when the mistake would happen, I'm just going to use an example, right? Let's say, and this has happened before, let's just say that our production guys forgot to load half an order that was going out to another state on a semi. All right, they're supposed to double check the order. The driver's supposed to double check the order. They got a bill of lading they're supposed to cross-reference it from, and they're supposed to inspect it for damage, right? Quality control. So not only did the mistake happen once, it happened twice. The second time, okay, we had a meeting about it as a whole entire company and as a staff, and we talked about this stuff. We went over it, and we said, okay, how do we make the process better? How do we avoid this? All right, so that'll happen. Then it happened again. Then it happened again. Then I said, okay, I'm being loving, kind, nurturing. I said, well, maybe we got to put some incentives behind this. And I said, hey, if we go 30 days, guys, without a major mistake, I'm going to give everybody a cash bonus. I said I'm going to take everybody out to dinner at Olive Garden, give them some incentive. Well, it happened again, and it happened again, right? So I had to think to myself, I said, hey, what's going on here? And what's going on is that there's no accountability. I confront a staff member, a team member about it, and they say, oh, sorry about that, Dave. I'll try to do better next time. All right, but that's as far as it went. And I'd say, okay, man, it's costing us a lot of money. We got to work on this. So finally, there was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I snapped. So I had formulated a disciplinary process. It's a procedure that's documented in our Asana, so everybody could see it as a company, and it's also in our employee handbooks that they sign off. But I said, hey, we doubled our staff this year. We got a lot of new people. Let me go over this in a meeting here, and let me tell everybody how the disciplinary system works. And I'm going to tell you guys, this is a great format. This is a disciplinary system that works great for us, and so I'm going to pass that on to you, right? So I call the meeting, and I say, hey guys, for those of you who don't know, some of you guys already know this, I just want to go over this disciplinary process with you guys. There's been a lot of mistakes, and I want to start implementing this system, and I want everybody here to be accountable. So the first thing I did, I handed every single person a copy in the room so they could look at it and they can see, right? So when a disciplinary action happens, I'm just going to continue with the half the order missing, okay? And this is a true story. So it happens again. And I say, all right, guys, you got the paper. The first thing that we do, we issue a verbal warning, right? We talk to the person or persons involved. We said, hey, we can't let this happen again. If this happens again, here's what's going to happen, right? And that gets documented and signed. They get a copy, and a copy goes in their folder, right? So we say, hey, if it happens again, you're going to get an official write-up, and then there's going to be a next step after that. So it happens again. The guys forget to take some of an order out to another state, out to Delaware. This particular incident happened. So now we do an official write-up, right? And we talk about the write-up. We talked about what went wrong, and we talked about what's going to happen if this problem is not rectified. What's the next step? Well, the third step, all right, they did it again. Now you're on a probationary period, and we document this whole process, and this whole process goes in the folder. So the probationary period usually can last 30 days, it can last 60 days, and where we closely monitor the performance of an employee or a team member, however you like to refer to it, we like to say team member. We closely monitor their performance. We have more regular meetings with them. Hey man, have you been working on that? Have you been double checking your orders? Have you making sure the stuff's not delivered or damaged before we send a semi a couple states out? Okay, it costs a lot of money to do that, and then we got to do it twice if we forget something. So, everything good in your life, everything good at work. Okay, so they go through the probationary period, right? Let's say it happens again on the probationary period. Well, next step, guys, is a suspension. And it could be a suspension without pay, right? So now here's a suspension. All right, this is getting really, really bad. You're going to take some time off without pay. You're going to think about it. Hey, maybe they come back. Maybe they don't. I'm not entirely sure. Sometimes people choose not to come back. But we got written documentation. It's in their folder. They were suspended for it. They come back. They do it again. We say, hey, man, I don't know what I got to do, man, but, this ain't working out for you. You're not a good fit for our company. So we're going to have to let you go, right? So we let them go. It wasn't a big shock. Like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe I lost my job. Well, yeah, this is, there's been several incidences and steps leading to this incident. So you knew you just got back from a suspension. It happened again. You were coming in the office. You know what the conversation's going to be about. We're not going to talk about sports or football. We're letting you go. All right. So it's not a shock to them. And I'm going to tell you guys the importance of having that documentation. All right. So through the years, I've let a lot of people go. Right? There's could be a high turnover rate, especially in the fencing industry, which I'm involved in the fencing industry, right? So they start thinking like, oh man, they start talking to their other half or their wife or whoever, their boyfriend, and they're like, oh, he fired me, and they're like, oh yeah, and all of a sudden they're like a lawyer now, and they're like, well, that's illegal. You should collect, or you should, write the whatever boards or commissions they want to write that may be in your state. The Department of Labor, they want to call everybody on you. So you need a file on them. Oh yeah, you're right. I was really mistreated there, and this all came suddenly, and I didn't see this one coming, and oh man, I'm in trouble now. I'm gonna collect, right? So the next thing that happens is they try to collect unemployment, and you are hit with a claim on, usually comes via email and a copy in your mail. And this is what they're going to ask you. I've been through a ton of this. Now, in Pennsylvania, it's a fire at will state. All right. So we could pretty much terminate anybody for anything outside of something crazy, like firing somebody for their race or their whatever, their religion or sexual beliefs or whatever, that type of. We can fire people and just be like, man, listen, man, you're not a good fit here. You got to go. But we don't want people winning unemployment cases against us, right? Because that makes all of our insurances, our workers' comp, all that stuff rise with it. So we say, hey, yeah, we let them go, and they're going to say, all right, when was their write-up? And they want you to attach all this stuff. When was the write-up, the date of the write-up, what action was taken, and was there any additional write-ups? So they want you to submit the write-up, explain what type of action happened, and then there's your proof and documentation that there was a process followed, all right? They made several infractions of the same nature, and they were terminated. So the case is closed, right? They're not going to win. It's a hands down thing. I mean, it's fire at will state. Here's all documentation. They're out of there. So we want that for fighting unemployment claims, for, claims to the Department of Labor. They might want to see your payroll. They might want to see your employee handbook, which, every single year we update, sometimes twice a year, update our employee handbooks. And we have everybody sign them. We give them a copy, a digital copy, and they sign a copy on DocuSign as well, saying that they went over it and they understand it. And all that stuff's in there. So guys, with all your ducks in a row, you don't have to worry about it. And I'm telling you, it creates some accountability. Now, this is a double-edged sword, right? Because you can't go in there, with people working in fear.
You know, there's the side of the pendulum where over here you're caring and over here you're demanding and you're stern. So you got to be somewhere in the middle. So what we did is we implemented a way where somebody they can work off write-ups, right? If they go 6 months or a year without a mistake, we might retract a verbal or a written complaint against them, right? We might take that away because we want them to not have this stuff pile up over years and have to terminate them, right? So we want to give them some light at the end of the tunnel and give them something to work for, because I'm telling you, at the end of the year, we use that team members folder to evaluate them. Hey, are these guys getting a raise? Are they getting a demotion? Are they staying where they're at? Are they getting a promotion to somewhere else in the company? Look at this person went a whole year without any type of infraction. They haven't missed any days, or the days that they did miss, there was doctor's excuses. So we want to use that in evaluation. And we also want to have a reward system in place. I know this is a lot of HR stuff, guys, and this can be very difficult to navigate. So I hope I'm helping you navigate through this. So, maybe you want to, implement an employee of the month, right? And say, okay, well, here's the criteria, lay it out to the staff. I'm expecting this, and this, and to hit these numbers, and to do this, and this many days mistake-free or injury-free, whatever the case might be. And then you could, as corny as it sounds, guys, it really works. An employee of the month, you give them a plaque with their name on it. You have it made. You have it sent to them, let you know that you appreciate their hard work and dedication. They stand out above everybody else. And you might choose to give them a monetary reward. All right, guys, doesn't have to be nothing huge. It could be something small. Maybe my production manager likes to go out to Texas Roadhouse and say, hey, man, here's a $120 gift card for you and your better half to go out to Texas Roadhouse, man, on us. Employee of the month, man. Here's a plaque. Hang it up with pride. Put it in your office, guys. So really, really important, guys, for accountability, because if you don't have the accountability there, the mistakes will continue to happen, especially if it's not costing them any money out of their pocket, as crazy as that sounds. It will continue to happen, and especially if there's no real consequences, if there's no fear behind letting that happen. When I was in boot camp and we were in our squad bays, right, our squad bay was a unit, right? And when somebody messed up in our squad bay, we all suffered, right? We had to get up, we had to do facial movements, we had to go out on the parade deck, stand at attention, bring our big heavy wooden foot lockers out there and hold them and get sprayed down with hoses and dogged in the sand pit, and because we were accountable for everybody's actions as a unit, right? But listen, if that person would keep doing it, the drill instructors would leave the squad bay and turn the lights out. And we knew, hey, it was time to go over there and bust them up, right? And when we busted them up, they never did it again. But we can't do that in the business world, obviously. Maybe not the best example, but another example too, when I was in boot camp, is our bunkie, right? We had to help our bunkie. It was the only way to get it done before the squad bays, the DIs would come piling in both sides of the squad bay. And what they were doing is they were doing inspections, and they were doing them fast. And they were inspecting our rack, making sure it had a 6-inch fold, that it had hospital corners, you could bounce a dime, that our foot locker was properly, all of our stuff was folded, our skivvies and our underwear and our uniforms were properly in there. And the only way to do it was to help your bunkie do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the time to get it done. And if you or your bunkie messed up, we had to carry our mattresses around with us all day, through drills, through marching, down to the chow hall, into the school. We had to carry. So we were accountable for helping each other out. And that's a good way maybe for you. I know I used it in my meeting with my staff, and it really clicked with them. About, how we're together as a unit. We got to look out for each other. We got to check each other's mistakes. We got to, when one person suffers, everybody suffers, because, that's really what's happening. When team members are messing up, the whole entire company is suffering, as a whole, whether it be financially, there's less vacation, there's stress, all that stuff there. So, guys, I hope you liked this episode. If you did, the only thing that I'm asking, guys, is that you like it, you share it, subscribe to it. Until the next time, guys, see you later.
Yeah, that's what I've been talking about right here. No doubt.
Future solutions, fencing outdoors. Clip of the day, man. I'm your host from the East Coast, man. Burn you with the toast. Let's go.